to suffer anymore in their cellars. We wanted to work together. We met. We meet regularly on a regularly basis, once or twice a week. And the only reason why we meet is building and building and building. We built since half a year, and some of our outcomes are this. I would say, after I saw the teaching today, old magraphs in the old style, not in the new style we saw today. We made our own design here. This design is made of sockets and socket plugs and pipes. And we always produce in pieces of 5. We always produce 5 lots here. And as you can see on the pictures, this is a kind of bottom-up installation. We begin at the bottom with the capacitors and build one and the next and the third copper coils up, and we produced the magraph. We call it the version 1. It is without the crystal in the middle. And then when Mr. Keshe told in December that it's a good reason for a peace project to implement the Berg crystal, we took this on, and from December on we tried to develop this, and it took us some time because we had troubles with drilling the crystals, and that's the reason why we finished our candle of pieces in February and not in January yet. The drilling itself was an adventure for us. We decided to order a special drill which was 9 centimeters long with a diameter from 1 centimeter, and it looks like this. If you wanna, okay, have to change it. It looks like this over there. This is the drill, and it is 9 centimeters long and has this diameter of 1 centimeter. And we drilled our 5 crystals with this drill, with a stud drill. It is a hollow drill which is water cooled, and we made a video, and I'd like to show you how we drilled this Berg crystal now.
Okay, you'll have to do your share screen.
Oh, sorry. You don't see the video?
No, we're still seeing the webcam.
Yeah.
Okay. Share screen. Okay.
There we go. And yeah, okay, good. We can hear the sound in the background. Actually, if that's music that's not if it's copyrighted music, could you turn it off, please?
It's copyright music.
Yeah, then turn it off then.
No, we needn't turn it off. It's okay. There's no copyright on it.
No copyright. Okay.
Yeah. So the Berg crystals are between 15 and 20 centimeters high and have a diameter between 3 and 5 centimeters.
How long does it take you to drill?
It took me about 20 minutes. You always have to go every 2 or 3 minutes down and bottom and up to be sure that the water is flowing into the drill hole.
Where do you buy this drill from?
We bought this in Germany. It's a company called Günther Diamond Tools. You can fix it on a ordinary stand drill. You just have to be sure that you have water near you. Here I had this problem that my stand drill only could drill for 8 centimeters deep. So I had to readjust.
Ah.
You see it's a hollow drill.
How does it break at the end? How do you break it at the end to separate it?
This one broke for itself, but it wasn't too deep at this stage, and I decided to drill a bit deeper, and then I broke it out. You can see it then with a screwdriver. At other crystals, it broke at 2 or 3 centimeters. It depends on the crystal itself. First time I drilled the crystal, it was a bit hard to me because, yeah, it's a kind of living. But yeah, I always talked with them during the drill, and as soon as we filled it then with CO2 cans, the pain was over. Here is the last part. I broke it with the screwdriver, and it comes out now. These are about 1 centimeter or 1.5 centimeter. And now the hole is 9 centimeters, nearly 9 centimeters deep. And we did this procedure with 5 other berg crystals. Some of them are naturally grown. Okay, this is the end of this video. So what we did then is, but this was only also our personal touch. We put the crystals, because we drilled a hole into it. We put the crystals in water and placed the singing bowl over it. It's of course not part of the whole procedure, but it was our personal touch. And then, not then, but before, I didn't mention it, we cut off about 2 centimeters at the bottom of the crystal and filled into the 9 centimeters long hole nano CO2 cans and mixed it a bit with the own crystal dust, and then we glued it again and waited for some days until they got built in. What we also did as part of our project, because we decided to produce a lot of coils in future, we built our own coil winding machine, and it's not an invention. We copied a lot of other people who developed other coil winding machines. We added a manual counter to it, and if it's okay for you, there's also a short video, and if it's okay, we can also show it how this coil winding machine works.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, yeah. Okay, carry on. That's nice.
This is our copper coil winding machine. On the right side, you see the knife which cuts off the isolation automatically. There is a 200-meter roll on the right side. Normally, at first, we just took the distance, but it wasn't exactly enough for us, so we additionally add a manual counter. We also tried a digital one, but it didn't work as we expected. And in the next stage, while turning the bar in the other direction and removing the manual counter, the distance between the coils is put in. So we stopped the time for a long coil with 144 windings. It takes about 1 minute to produce the whole coil, including the distance between the windings. And here you see the change of the bar in the middle. This was the thicker one. Now we change it to the thinner one. If you count the windings with the manual counter, you always have to count a bit more. But it's just after 1 or 2 coils, it's in. You can feel, you know it, how many windings you have to add. And this is now the same with the smaller coil, the inner coil. We also made the capacitors with it. Also, if there are only 9 or 18 windings, you are pretty much quicker than with a screwdriver. Okay. This was the video about our coil winding machine. And now I show you some pictures which we took during we built our piece candle. This is the first layer you see on the left side. In the middle there's already the Berg crystal filled with CO2 GaNs. And we also added the split capacitors into this layout. And we added the capacitors on every layer. You see in the middle the second layer, and on the right side the third layer. This is the same view from the bottom, from the upside. And this is a picture from the tops of 2 selected piece candles. And in the next step, I would like to show you it in the camera. I stop the share now. So I got the one here. We also made our own design here, and you can see the crystal over here looking out of these pipes. And we can also have a look inside. I will change the camera now. As you can see, the hole is duplicated, but this only because of the crystal. You see the hole inside, the 9 centimeter deep hole, and you see the split capacitors from the third layer. And we got another one here. This is the one with the natural grown crystal. It has 2 tops, and you can also see the hole in it and the split capacitors. Yeah, we got the chance here because in our team we got a cameraman and a professional cutter lady, and we got the chance here to write everything down we do. We set up a handbook in German, and we wrote down every single step to produce this MacRef, and it's well visited till now. We also added theory to it for people who never heard of the plasma thematic of the cache technology, so that they can dive into this topic, and that they can be picked up at some stages of their knowledge or of their feelings. Our MacRefs, we see our MacRefs as entities, and yeah, we live with them. And as we saw today, there will be growth in the family of devices in our households, and we're looking forward to adding all this new knowledge in form of devices. I can show you briefly the site. I have to share the screen again. This is a screenshot from our handbook, which we wrote in German. It's on the internet site plasmaenergy.org. And
can you please send this to the Keshe Foundation, the link?
Yes, of course.
That we link you with the Keshe Foundation website directly as German Keshe Foundation translation, because you've done a lot of beautiful work that for our German friends who come on site, they can click into and learn it in German. You should know that all the 3 books now fully translated into German, and in a short time, very soon, we'll release all 3. One has been published, but we have some problem in the background with the distributor. Should be resolved. But the Keshe Foundation Germans, all 3 have been translated and we added on the website of the Keshe Foundation. These things, the works you've done is fantastic. I congratulate you. It's amazing what you've done. But to help the German community, please send the link to the Keshe Foundation, and we add you as part of the German at keshefoundation.org, that a lot of people can learn from it direct.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. It's beautiful.
There is another thing. We work in parallel on the health device with the helmet, and if it's okay, we show you our progress. It's not ready, but what we've done so far is gonna change to the camera again. We already produced and drilled the helmet, and of course we already made with our coil winding machines the windings for the helmet and the windings for the body device.
Can I have a look at your helmet, please? Can you bring it forward? We can see.
Wait a bit, I can switch the camera.
It's too close. I've done this many times. I know what you've done.
Too close?
It's too close. Yeah. I've done this many times. The helmets we made. Okay, that's perfect. You have 6 holes on either side.
I have 6 holes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. This is very nice.
And we already produced the coils for the body part, and you see behind me there is the holder, the housing, and we decided to produce it totally out of copper because we want to nano coat it with fire then, and we place then this coils over here. You can see it also with copper screws. So we try only to use copper, and this plastic stuff we couldn't replace. And we decided, this is a small design of it.
Can we see your team behind you? Most probably they are there. Can you see you?
I don't know if they like to.
Why not? You've done such a gorgeous job.
Okay. This is Sonia.
We don't see you're on your desk camera.
And Gerhard.
You
sorry.
have to change.
Okay.
Hello.
This is Sonia and Gerhard. And this is 2/3 of our team.
Thank you very much for your hard work. I just had the privilege to see the what you call the Persian-German Keshe Foundation, which was very surprising for me. The Iranian Keshe Foundation in Germany have got their own team, and the others are working in the same way. And it's very nice to see how Germany is going ahead with this thing. It's very nice. The Austrians and the Germans, and I think the only people getting left behind is the 1 or 2 countries in Europe. It's fantastic.
What we also thought is that was Sonia's idea, how we could fix the coils at the helmet, and she found such pudding forms in which this coils fit perfectly, and that's why we decided to use these pudding forms, not just for the reason that one looks at this helmet is starting to laugh. It's also a part of becoming health, I guess. And we decided then to put this pudding forms on these plastic holders, and that's our way of fixing the coils on the helmet.
The Martian Man.
Yeah, you could say so.
It's fantastic. As you know, Renan has explained before. Renan, have you managed to get the authorization to start testing in the hospital in Philippines yet?
Sir, this is good news. We have already a go signal to bring the device in the community service hospital this coming Saturday. And hopefully we're gonna have a set up by Tuesday to do the actual testing for the patient, and we can have our early presentation with you on that day, so that we can do the actual procedures. with your
So
instructions.
you got the authorization to start testing in the hospital now.
Yes, sir. We have already the
Congratulations.
text already. Yeah, we will have set up.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
That's fantastic. So you got to ask your authorities in Austria if they allow you to do the same.
Okay.
There is something which is we have to explain for the European community developers. Keshe Foundation has a license to produce these medical system on the alternative certification of the health in Europe. We have a license from Naturopathica of the Belgium for production of these units to be used by medical doctors. So the ones who are medical doctors can use it. And we have released a copy of the certification before. And I am a, what do you call it, whatever, member of the Naturopathic of Belgium. I think if the member of the Keshe Foundation who is a student online and is a member of Naturopathica, he can explain to you. In a way, we have a license to produce these systems if doctors wants to use it. The health equipment of the Keshe Foundation, or my work, has been authorized to be used in EU. There is no, if any doctors who wants to test them, because you're developing them under my technology teaching, doctors can use as an alternative, and it's been insurance underwritten by the organization. His name is Willem. Is he there? He's usually online. Wim, are you online from Belgium, Naturopathica? He's usually online. He used to attend most of the teaching. He's the secretary of the Naturopathica. It's a body of the alternative medicine organization in Belgium. And we have a permission, we have a license. So if any doctors in Austria wants to use it to know if it can be done, when a license given in one part of the Europe, the rest can, they can use it. We can transfer the rights because it's part of the Keshe Foundation technology. So if you find any doctors who want to test this across the Europe, we have received, we have had it for nearly 5 or 6 years plus. It's an authorization, it's a license used to be on the offices of the Keshe Foundation in Belgium. So if you finish your system and you want to test it, let us know. We ask Naturopathica to send you a copy of the certification. In EU, you're allowed to do it as an alternative, accepted as alternative medicine, and you're legally within framework of EU.
Okay. There is one question left for us concerning the coating of the coils of the helmet or of the whole health application, because we like to coat it with fire, and there is the question which is the right direction to coat these coils, because they are other connected than the coils from the Magraf.
It's the same way.
It's the same way. Okay.
The same way that you understand which way it could be.
Okay.
One of the easy ways to do it is just don't forget how you turn it. One goes the other way, and then you roll it, and it has to be the opposite way. That it becomes the original side.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of you who watched the firing video, where it was explained how you nano coat with the fire, was the hand and the voice of Vernie, who was teaching us today.
Yeah, we got this direction also on our website, when it's the same like for the Magraf. So it's over here.
It's fantastic.
There are both slides.
Let me explain. Hopefully within the next few weeks, hopefully, we know very soon. The machine you showed to making the coils. Mm-hmm. One of us Keshe Foundation supporters in Canada has more or less built a system that it can wind and nano coat.
Yes.
Of it firing. That is an automatic system. We hopefully And Jeff DuPont, if you're on the line, you can show your system if you want after this.
Did you say wind and nanocoat in one process?
Yes.
Okay.
We will.
Okay.
This system will go for sale on the Cash Foundation website. Hopefully, we can finish it. It's all
Okay.
one. Spend a lot of time on it. We finance part of it. It's shareholding of the Cash Foundation with the Canadian Cash Foundation. So we will show, if Jeff DuPont is online, he can show it for the first time. That we all see. This is a commercial unit for making a nano coating, and you can go on the Cash Foundation website to purchase it. Carry on, please.
Okay. And the last question is for the helmet. Which GaNs we have to select? CO2 GaNs for the whole.
CO2 and zinc only.
Okay. Yeah.
We use copper when there is a muscle tissue, because the copper is the transmission of the neural system in the red tissue. We don't have nerves. In the brain of the man, we don't have red tissue. So you have to be very careful when you produce these coils, that you stay, even if you can find or use zinc wiring to make the coil. It'll be 100 times better than using copper coils for the helmets. If you can use this, because the zinc is a combination of, when you bring the copper into the winding for the helmet, you can create a field which is not used by the brain. But why we use the copper and CO2 and the zinc as a GaNs is because the power switch. Yes.
Sorry, these are the other
No problem.
team.
No problem. We all have them and we all love them. Without them, we don't know how much what love is, and unconditional love comes from animal. What we suggest is, if you are using psychosomatic conditions, always use copper and zinc and CO2. But if you're dealing with, you see, we are right. He says yes. If you're using the what you call for only the brain, like seizures, like epilepsy, when you use it for systems like Alzheimer's, use zinc wire only.
Okay.
This copper zinc is good for psychosomatic, because you connect the emotion, the brain, with the copper, which is with the physicality. If you are going for specific mental or psychological conditions, do not ever use a copper winding.
Okay.
It's very important. Use a zinc wires and make sure there is no copper in that vicinity. But because we're introducing a system to connect with the brain, you need that copper connection, copper winding. It's very important for those of you who make systems. Never use the systems which is copper winded for mental conditions.
Okay.
Thank you. Carry on.
There is only one last question remaining. It's theoretically a question. It's about the way of coating a copper, because we already held a teaching here in Austria, and we tried to pick up our audience on different stages of knowledge or emotions, and we found it very useful to implement some scientific studies. And there are two types of studies who deals with how the nanocoating layer can be built or are built. There, which I found, there are the ones who say, after heating it up with a gas at a special temperature, there are growing these nanowires on which there are crystals on them, and others say these are no nanowires, this is a graphene layer. And what I would like to know from you is, what is your opinion about, or does it depend on the way of nano coating? Maybe nanowires grow with fire, and the graphene layer grows with the chemical way of coating.
They both grow in both conditions.
Okay.
What we see is totally dependent on the condition and the composition of the copper. This is what we've seen up to now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the way the copper is extruded, the way the copper is even heated when you do the both side. With you got to realize you create a heat in a caustic, a spectrum of heat, and that is why you get different compositions of the structure of the nanomaterial. Because once you create a nanomaterial, every heating creates its own enforcement on the shape and the size of the nano layer. So you get both.
Okay.
And you got to understand what's the difference between graphene and what you call it, sp2 and sp3, and how the structure is seen. Depends on the freedom of the copper according to its environment. What environment you did, how you do it. A lot of you haven't done a test. There is a test you can do. You'll have a fantastic pleasure with it. Is that to make a caustic, nano coated, put the copper plate or copper wire in a caustic. The minute you put it in at high temperature, and just take it out and dip it in a freezing cold water, you see a totally different structure. And put it back in the caustic the way it was in the boiling caustic. This gives you a layer of sp3. It's the first time I disclosed this, because I gave assurance to what called diamond bourse in Antwerp. You can actually watch and grow diamond, pure diamond. But you got to do it. You got to replicate the creation as is created in the universe or in the condition. How does diamond grow? How do we get diamond on your fingers? What I call the ladies love so much. You get a high pressure gas pressurizing the carbon up, and then when it comes up to the top in the cool, it just crystallizes. It bubbles, it opens, and then it crystallizes. So you do the same repeat. To make what I call sp3, this is how you do it. You replicate the environment. You put your copper in a hot, just when you put the caustic in, at that heat you take it out and dip it in a cold freezing water, and dip it back in the hot water. And then if you get everything right, you see diamond structure growing. Because when you go in, you can even use salt in the cooling water. When you go in, when you come out, you allow the growth and you freeze it. In that process, in the air, you carry some carbon with you, and you see the structure of the pure diamond. Absolutely flawless. And if you can do this on the control way, you can grow as much diamond as you like. But you got to replicate it. There is nothing wrong with what you show, which one is right or wrong. If you do this with a torch, heating up and then putting in the cold water, you see the layers of nano layer just splashes off. You collect nano material at the bottom. If you do it with electric, it's the same. But in the replication of the heat as happens in the nature, if you use a caustic and you get it right, it takes a lot of practice to do it. You dip, you put your copper wire even, you add a caustic to it, it heats up as it goes at the highest temperature, you take it out, you dip it in a, what do you call it, in a cold water. You can add the connection of the wire to it, that you create the CO2 which becomes, and you start producing pure diamond. It's absolutely flawless D. And I know that I used to use in the work in diamond bursts. That the diamond burst people wanted, when they tested the first diamonds, they wanted me to explain to them how I produce it. And being in that, I give a guarantee we'll never disclose it. But now everything has broken the structure. People are producing it. You see graphene and graphite. Now you know how you produce it. You produce graphene in a replication of the Earth. Carbon, which comes through the volcanic eruption under pressure, it blows up and it just opens up like it's a popcorn. In fact, there is no difference with a diamond and a popcorn. Created the same. That's all. We value the carbon more than the corn. That's all it is. So it opens up, and we know this is correct because if you've been in the diamond business, can I share a screen with you? If you can, let me share. I'll explain to you. You have to stop sharing, and then we come back again.
Okay, I stopped it.
Okay, we stopped it. What I'm going to do is show you what happens. In the, say, I want to find a new save. Then, circuit. Okay. What happens, this is, you can do, because you showed me a crystal you were drilling there. It will be very effective the way you are working, especially for the activities for the brain, if you understand the future. What happened, you heat up a pan with the oil and you put the popcorn in it. You put the corn seeds in it. When it comes to temperature, you get the seed, the hard bit, and the rest opens up. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with the diamond. When we find a diamond, doesn't matter what shape it is, we always find a seed in the center. The seed depends how it is. If you see, you have a popcorn when the hard bit is in one corner and the hard seed is in the one side. This happens exactly to carbon. If the carbon gets heated to a certain degree, it pops, and it only happens in a volcanic eruption. That's why we see diamond only near the old, what do you call it, volcanic sites and the rivers. And so what we do in diamond business, we see this one and the corn are exactly the same. We try to find a place where one of these is better than one in the center, because then you have to cut it across the center of the diamond. And then we cut this part of it, we cut it out, and this becomes the part we use. And so in so many ways, you do the same thing. You heat up, you create a condition of copper. You can produce any color diamond you like. But you see the changes, you see the graphite or graphene according to how you cool it. So all you need, you take it up, and when you submerge it, you do exactly like this. The popcorn comes, it explodes. When it comes up, it freezes, it takes its shape. That instantaneous of heat on one side and cool on the other side, it opens it up. So you do the same thing, and you can produce layers and layers of diamonds of different colors. Russian diamond market in the past few months or past few years have produced diamond in a very different way. You see very strange color diamonds. They have patented it, but unfortunately, as I can tell you, the patent worth not much. They are doing it. What they do, they buy very cheap diamonds, and these cells sits somewhere. In the past, in the diamond business, what we used to do, we used to drill, wash it, and then cap it. And we used to fill this side with the silicon. When you take the diamond in the hand, when you see the beautiful one wearing a very expensive diamond, you cannot fool a jeweler, a man who works in the diamond. Because if you look at it, what you see, the light hits at the point of the silicon, and what you get rainbow. If you take a diamond in your hand, you see a rainbow in it, is a false diamond. It's been cleaned up. So now what is a new technology which has come with the Russians in the work of the diamond? The color of a diamond comes from the gases which is interrupting it. If you have certain material, it looks pink. If you have certain gases, it looks blue or whatever. That's why it's limited, because it's always created under certain condition pressure. What the Russians have done now is they buy diamonds around about $10–20 cheap, and then they condition in a gas condition GANS, it's a gas conditioned plasma, and they literally empty these backwards, but they still leave some residual, and these residual, because are a different composition, are creating new red, blue and diamond we see. So they put the diamond in a vacuum, high vacuum space chamber, and they suck the gases out in a very specific way. So you don't see any indentation on the stone, but you see the seeping, very slow process of seeping. The thing finds its way out. And in that process, because of the mixture of the colors, they try to use a single mother type thing. It creates a new stone colors. If you by accident cut this out, you get a white stone. Any pink, blue, expensive diamond is just because of the gas mixture which is in it. It's the reflection of the light through the gases. So what you explain, which one, who's correct, who's not correct. Now you can produce as much graphene as you like. And if you allow it to grow the right way, as it happens in volcanic eruptions, you can produce all colors of diamond as you like. So nobody is wrong. It's the process and the temperature, understanding the structure of how carbon is created in the universe and how diamond is created. Diamond is a popcorn carbon. So how would you like the thing to pop, your nano material? To pop, you need to heat it up and cool it rapidly. Voila, you have graphene. Nobody is wrong, but nobody ever understood this process. As usual, we explained for the first time. Now you understand?
Yeah, thanks for